What is up, Kryptonians? Before I get started with this video, if you would be so kind, please like the video, share the video, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and see, what kind of goofiness I have to offer. Today, I'm reviewing Past Lives, which is a new romantic drama out of A24. This movie is directed by Celine Song, and it stars Greta Lee, and it stars Teo Yoo, and it stars John Magaro, I think that's his name. This film follows these two characters. One is named Nora, and the other one is named Hae-sung. Two childhood friends, but then one day Nora's family immigrates from South Korea, and so they are pulled apart from each other. Decades later, these two reunite in a random encounter in New York City. And the movie then explores the different paths that they could have chosen as they wrestle with questions about love and destiny and fate and all of that good stuff. It's a romance movie, so, if you're into romance, this is your party. I saw too much buzz about this movie prior to seeing it for me not to check it out. So many people on Twitter, Facebook, other places, so many people saying Past Lives is so amazing. Past Lives is incredible. Past Lives is one of the best movies of the year. I took my girlfriend and my mom to see the movie and we all three cried. Is it really that good? Like, are you guys just gassing this shit? Romantic movies are like, I'm not gonna say I'm anti-romance movie, but I would say of the movies that I choose to watch, they're probably like, I don't know, like 5th or 6th on the ladder of me climbing to see the movies that I want to see. Whatever the case may be, this movie might be a masterpiece. I'm not saying that it's an Oscar movie, but I'm telling you, it's a fucking Oscar movie. When it comes to the direction for this film, the screenplay and the acting, this movie was shitting perfect 10s. Everything about this movie feels intimate and methodical. I love the way this film is paced and edited. I love the way it flows together. The transitions are smooth. I never felt like I was bored. I was engaged with the characters. It's one of those movies where the directing and the acting is so powerful that you can have two characters in a scene where they're not saying shit to each other and you are just hooked on the scene. Like, you cannot take your eyes away. It's one of those films where there's a lot of unspoken things that are hanging heavily in the air between people. You're just engrossed in the characters just staring at each other, and you're just breaking down their body language, their eyes, their facial expressions. You're vibing to the music in the scene. From a directing standpoint, they set the mood on this story the right way from the opening jump. And then let's get into the visual storytelling, because the visuals for this movie are absolutely eggs on the tit. The visuals might be just as, if not more, beautiful than the romance within the story. I love the gorgeous camera work here. One of my favorite techniques that the director uses here is the left to right or the right to left pan. There's so many shots that are either slowly or quickly panning from left to right or right to left when it enters a frame, and it really just allows you to sink in the entire beauty of the shot as you're watching it. There's so much that the shot is telling you about the characters, about their environments, about their situation, maybe even about their emotions at the time. Love all of the different things that they were doing in this movie when it comes to reflections and mirrors and stuff like that. If you're gonna have a big romance movie and you're not gonna have like a bunch of huge exciting scenes where characters are shouting or an action scene or whatever, you need to make sure that camera work is on point. And the camera work in this thing was immaculate. It was just beautiful stuff. And holy shit, all of the actors, well, okay, mainly the 3 main actors in this movie should be award nominated right now. Like, we don't need to wait till the end of the year. Let's get these fuckers nominated right fucking now. John Magaro is great in this film as a supporting actor, but it's really about the two people that are at the heart of this romance and this conflict in this movie. Like I said, there's a lot of scenes where they're talking and you're completely engaged on the conversation. The dialogue doesn't feel wasted. You don't feel like you're watching any filler in this movie. We've all had that moment in our lives where we're eye fucking somebody else. Like, I'm sitting there in the movie and I'm just like, holy shit, are they gonna pull it out and fuck right here in the street? This is New York. I'm not saying that they actually did that in the movie. I'm just saying that's the kind of emotional, sexual energy that was permeating every scene with them. This movie definitely is tackling heavy themes about fate and about choice and about destiny. This movie deals with the spirituality of past lives and reincarnation and stuff like that. And it's just really fascinating to see how all of that came together. If you're not heavy into romance, I do feel like maybe it'll be too much of a slow burn for you. This movie's more about conflicts of the heart and conflicts of the spirit, conflicts of the journey that you're on in life. And so if that's not your thing, you might be like, I wish there was a little bit more going on. Personally, I do feel like there is a character in this movie that feels very important to the story, but they also feel unimportant in the larger scheme when it comes to the characters, and it's very difficult to explain without spoiling. There's just one character that's very central to the story that just feels like they weren't given enough attention, weren't fleshed out enough, so it feels like they're just kind of tagging along in the movie, even though without them, the entire story would have to change. There's also one little detail about Nora and her family in this movie where it kind of irritated me a little bit. It doesn't bother the movie at all, but I'm just kind of like, why did they just kind of disappear at a certain point in the movie? I had questions. I was kind of curious about them. Past Lives is every bit as good as you have heard it is, and probably a little bit better than that if I'm being honest. Past Lives is a great romantic movie, and it belongs in Superman Prime. So those are my thoughts on Past Lives. Tell me, have you ever been in love before? How many times? Did you marry the person? Are you still with the person? Tell me a little bit about your experience there. Don't be afraid to get personal here. I'll share mine too. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel. Stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.